everybody, and welcome to the Level 30 podcast. My name is Tom, and I'm alongside Joe and Kevin. I got their names right this time around. Last episode, I did not. Twice. So welcome. We'll welcome Joe to the podcast. Welcome, Joe. He said in perfect Animal Crossing speak. Welcome, Kevin.
Also
Hello.
Splatoon. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Kev, how are you?
I disagree with that, Joe.
Kevin, you good?
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm great.
He's got immediate beef with Joe at the start of the episode,
Wow.
which means you know we're off to good things. Well, we got a busy day ahead of us, as there was some key information for Animal Crossing that came out early this morning. So in a stroke of good luck, a direct was announced with enough time for us to actually do a podcast immediately after it. In a bad stroke of luck, I'm the only one here that plays Animal Crossing. So we'll move through a lot of that information. Needless to say, there will be a review on the game. I'm actually talking to Ada to also do a review of the game as kind of a new person to the series. She is super stoked for it, but she's never played a formal Animal Crossing game. And I see that because if you're watching our video, which we thank you for, on the modified set, I brought with me my unironically purchased version of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival for the Wii U. Yes, I paid $60 for it. And yes, I also bought the $35 3-pack of Amiibo that came out alongside of it. And collected many of the Animal Crossing Amiibo cards.
Are those the same amiibo that are the only amiibo that you can find in Five Below?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Although
Just making
I
sure.
think GameStop has a couple like random Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, I
ones,
did see
so-
one of them there the other day. I almost,
Yeah.
it was like $10, and I'm like, no, thank you.
So if you want the amiibo for a new game, go to Five Below.
Which the new game does support, but we'll get on that in a little bit. Some things going on around the horn on Level 30. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, we got a couple things. We got a couple episodes of Press Start that are up there and a few more in the chamber. I have to say, with a little bit of humble brag going on here, Mike and I have been doing some really good episodes, the last few ones out. Sonic was a ton of fun. We have a few more that we recorded a couple weeks ago, that are just kind of like batshit crazy. One of which fell by the wayside. It's now in the chamber of one of the long lost episodes because Mike didn't turn on his microphone when we started recording, and so you just can't.
How
hear
can
him.
they be long lost at this point?
I don't know, but they are. You know what? Let me-
They're short lost right now.
let
Over
me-
time, they'll be
Let
long
me live
lost.
the dream. All right, we're up to episode 12 or so.
Do what you
But they've
will.
been getting really good. If you haven't been checking those out, check those out because we enjoy them.
I don't watch them because Mike refuses to watch our podcast.
Mike actually offered to
So this
be
is-
on the podcast today.
Yes, but he won't watch it, so there's some like internal beef
He'll watch
here.
it if he's on it. He'll do it. I think he likes watching himself. Weird sentence.
Narcissist.
Let's move on then. So check out those press starts. I've also been working on Kevin's review of Ori and the Blind Forest, which we recorded the other day. The audio edit is near completion. I just have to do some video capture, but we're getting that one out there. Kevin was very adamant about this game, having played it and then really falling in love with it.
Did you play it yet, Joe?
No.
Do you want to give us a quick, 30-second recap? I know you kind of gushed about it before, but...
Oh my God.
No,
You
you put me on the
physically
spot.
gushed right
oh,
now.
okay. Thanks,
It's
Kevin.
amazing. Watch the review. I actually just beat it after we filmed the review. Like that, 2 days later, I went and finished the last area.
Yeah, he was in, the last...
the last area.
last part. Yeah.
The game is really, really good though.
Yeah, so that'll
I
review
love
be
it.
coming soon.
Love
We got
it.
Animal Crossing review coming, I guess, the end of March. And
I won't play it until I see your review.
suits our fancy. But yeah, let's jump into some stuff. We got some news on the docket today. We got some. I didn't have time for reviewer questions, but I think that's all right. As I did pull some questions from a survey that I took on a Reddit post, a Reddit forum, the Nintendo Switch subreddit.
Is it like one of those like, what Nintendo character are you? Because I'll.
Oh no
I'll
no
kill
no!
you.
This was based on usage and stuff, and,
Okay.
and all that other things. But there were some good questions. I stole some. I'm not gonna lie. So we'll move.
Well, this
through-
is the final episode of Level 30 podcast because we'll be sued into oblivion now.
no
'Cause
no
you
no
stole
no.
questions, you thief.
No, it wasn't an official Nintendo podcast
That's
or
right.
podcast. It wasn't an official Nintendo
Reddit? Subreddit.
survey. No, it was just
Got
some
it.
guy put this out. I think he's one of those data is beautiful kind of people and
Hmm.
wants to collect stuff. But there were some pretty thorough questions, more so than Nintendo would have asked. I thought it was interesting. So let's move through some Animal Crossing things. Now, I will say that I'm a devoted fan of the series, as I've played every entry, with the exception of the mobile version. I have zero interest in playing it on my phone. Kevin's been a hard pass pretty much forever, and Joe, I feel, is like the one that could be influenced potentially. So,
I don't like that. That concerns me.
well, I'm not like one of those hardcore I will murder people for Isabel fans.
Wow.
People are crazy.
No,
over
that's
that.
Villager's job.
That's the killer.
Oh, sorry. Yes. But I'm curious, Joe, what's kept you on the fence about this game? And is there any part of it that you've seen snippets of that lead you to believe that maybe this could be something you enjoy?
No. Honestly, I don't. I think I'm more into like action in my games for any reason, and there doesn't seem to be much in that. Like I don't see anything other than like a animal life simulator. Like it really doesn't seem much more just from what I've watched. Like obviously there could be more to it by playing it, but you have to get me into it from the advertisements. So all I'm seeing is just like, oh, I walk out and there's Tom Nook or whatever he is, and he's just gonna look at me and go, and that's it.
So Joe likes the language of the game,
yes.
but
There's,
maybe...
I do, I very much do. But there's no conflict, and that's my problem. Like I don't. What am I doing? What are we here for? It's a
Conflict
very
is
existential
you need to pay
question.
forever.
No, and that's actually a good point. So the direct starts this morning, and Joe goes, "So where's the conflict? Who's the bad guy?" There is none, Joe. Actually, you can argue Tom Nook is the bad guy because he's like, "Oh, hey, you have no say in what goes on here because this is a video game. So like, work off this debt. Take your time, but like, you gotta perpetually owe me money for the duration of your existence." In
Such
this game.
is.
But I
life.
already owe money. I don't need. I don't need to
Oh,
play a
digital
game to
money.
put me further in debt. Like if I don't want to be in virtual debt along with like actual real life debt.
I suppose that's fair, but the game itself insanely popular. I mean, it sells millions of copies. It's
yeah.
only gotten bigger as the series has gone on. From the original GameCube version, which was originally the Nintendo 64 version, I believe, that they just kind of canceled last minute and started to
put
port
it
it
on the
over
GameCube.
to the GameCube.
Not that I put too much time into the GameCube version or anything, but I feel like isn't that game too big for the N64? There just seems like there was way too much going on.
Could have been the 64 DD, which was that like pseudo expansion for the system. I
Okay.
don't really recall. I think they just either hit the end of its life cycle and realized no one's here anymore, or it was a technical thing and they said, well, GameCube will work, which is why even for the GameCube, it was not the best looking game.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay.
Also required an entire memory card to save. And if it
It
needed
did.
an entire memory card on GameCube, it probably needed 2 memory cards on N64, which not a whole lot of people had memory cards to begin with for that thing.
Well, I had memory cards for it. I don't remember the
didn't say
size
nobody.
or capacity.
They were
Probably
not that
like
big.
8 megs.
Oh,
Yeah, I
if
remember what
that.
those
mean,
were. The little tiny
The
things.
PS2 one was 8 megs. I remember.
Oh, that's true. I think
so it could have been even less.
the PS1 was like 120. No, that wouldn't make sense. Like 4 megs or something. It was super tiny.
right.
And then yeah.
Well, if you bought the game, it came with a memory card,
Yeah, but not if you rented it from Blockbuster.
which I'm guessing you did,
Mm-hmm.
and then had to start over every single day,
No.
or just leave your GameCube on overnight.
No, I think I gave up after I was like, oh, I can't save
There's
this.
no conflict.
Turn off. Never.
There's no
That's my
conflict.
conflict.
Said young Joe on
There's
his
no
GameCube.
conflict in this game.
I want to murder things. These animals are too upbeat for my liking.
Blockbuster was my conflict.
Yeah. You
Wow,
played
hey.
the long game and won because Blockbuster's no longer with
He
us.
hasn't won yet. There's one left.
Oh.
Is there?
And they only rent exclusively Animal Crossing for the GameCube with no memory cards.
No,
There is legit one left.
I think
I thought the last one was
I thought
closing.
the last one closed too.
Well, I'm gonna look that up while
All
you
right,
continue.
you looked it up as we
Please do.
move on. This game has a really big audience, which is part of its appeal and appeal. I like banana peel.
I
Part of its
thought that's
appeal-
what I heard. Okay.
Yeah. And so I think because of that, I love the fact that there's no conflict. I like the fact that it's the most like laid back, like all day in class today. I usually play music when the kids come in. I had like Animal Crossing and chill on YouTube just kind of in the background.
This is from
What
a
is
year
the
ago.
date?
It's
Oh, it's a year ago.
I gotta look.
Yeah, I think it was recently that the last one closed.
Rip
Breaking news:
Blockbuster.
there might be one left still.
Just Google search Wiki Blockbuster.
Mm.
So the notion of just kind of chilling out, relaxing at like time-specific parts of the day, like I can already tell this is a game that I'm probably going to check in the morning before class starts, and I'll pop in on my lunch break and do a few things. And when I get home from work, because the game runs in like off the internal clock of the system, you have certain events that happen throughout the day, and certain bugs or fish might only be available in certain times of day. Which, when you say out loud, does not seem like something a grown man would really want to comment on or find enthralling. But it is like really super laid back, and this game gives a lot more customization options this time around. I'm going to run through some of the key things if you are an Animal Crossing fan.
Before you do that, that
Mhm.
Blockbuster is still open as of January 2020.
Could you
Okay.
call them right now and see if they have Animal Crossing?
No,
for the
I'm not getting
GameCube?
out of this chair.
And ask if it comes with
You
the
don't have to
memory
get out of the
card.
chair. We can do it live.
They're in Oregon. I'm not calling them.
Well, it's all right. Fine. Be that way. We're gonna inquire later. So some key things from the Animal Crossing Direct. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, it is a longer one. It's a little over 27 minutes, which is a lot. But I'll speed through some things as it sounds like my cohorts are just not into this game. Kevin, I thought Joe had a chance.
I
but
do not.
Why?
It just does not appeal to me. It's not the kind of game I play. Like I like my cousins love Animal Crossing.
How old are your cousins?
Early 20s. So they play it on the GameCube. They play it on the DS. They like love it. And I
Men,
asked them,
women,
what?
boys, girls.
They're
men?
both guys.
Okay.
And I asked them what they like about it, and they gush on about it. But I'm just like, it's not. I'm not. It does not appeal to me at all.
Okay.
I have no interest in it. Like if I'm gonna collect things and hoard things, I'm gonna do that in Breath of the Wild and also destroy enemies in between. Because I can do many things in that game.
That's true. You could just walk for miles and not even run into an enemy sometimes in Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I
have
could
that super
collect
chill
bugs
music.
and
there is
fish.
still music in it.
Yeah, there is.
Just random piano note,
Mm-hmm.
like dead silence, and then bing. Yep.
And people go, brilliant. It's so brilliant.
The game needed more music.
It
That's why
definitely needed more
I
music.
don't know.
It's all about
That's a whole other
time.
topic.
Sure is.
I get very heated about.
All right, well, let's move through some of the key things for, at least for me then. Happy to report that for those of us that have dealt with clumsy menu navigation, there's finally a sub-menu for items, which is great. It kind of pops up as a rotary menu that you might find in like a first-person shooter where you get to like hold
Like
the button.
Doom. Doom
Yeah,
has
there
that
you
menu.
go. You get to hold that button down, select an item without having to hit pause, go to the menu, which has always been a cumbersome pain in the butt when you want to chop down a tree and then switch over to your shovel and dig up that stump. It's hopefully that streamlines it a little bit. It looks like interior decorating's been overhauled as well, where you actually get a cursor to move objects as opposed to lugging them, which has always been problematic, and you can select multiple things at once. So if you want to shift like a whole wall's worth of furniture, apparently you can do so in one fell swoop. Mystery tours are an option that you can do to go to a random island, which is a little bit smaller, but there's a lot you can do there as far as finding items you might not have on your item natively, as the way the islands generate is that typically you have like one native fruit, for example. Like you load up your game and you got pears, then you're stuck with pears. Now you can get other fruit, but you have to get that from going to other people's islands or trading with people or hopefully buying seeds if they're available. But this seems like a quick way to go out and get some fruit that you may not have natively and then
Now, do you
plant
mean other people in the game, or is there a multiplayer aspect?
There is a multiplayer aspect. It's in a traditional Nintendo fashion. It's a little cumbersome. So if you purchase the game, you have one island per system on the system. But that doesn't
That's
differentiate
so
if
weird.
there are multiple accounts on the system. So if you had a family of 4 and everyone wanted to play the game, you would all share the same island. It wouldn't
Okay.
generate a new island per account. It doesn't know the difference there.
I think I know why that's like that.
What are your
Because
thoughts?
if you had, I know what Animal Crossing Nintendo's weird with like duplicating items and like save scumming or cheating kind of.
Right.
But like, so if you have one island per system, like Tom, you can make like 4 accounts on your island and then potentially trade with yourself.
That's true. I guess.
maybe that's why.
Maybe I didn't think of that. I guess it's probably a possibility.
Yeah.
Why they're so protective about Animal Crossing?
I
though.
don't get that.
It's really weird. So yeah, you
It's
can
really
have
weird.
one island per, and you can do single player, multiplayer if you have multiple human users living on that island as well. So in that family of 4 scenario, they could all play simultaneously on that island, like with a single screen. So there would be one leader, and then the camera would follow them, and you would follow that person to go do activities or whatnot.
So only local multiplayer.
Single screen local, yes. You can also visit people that have the game as well. So if you had the game, I could online go and fly to your island and hang out and chill and stuff.
Okay.
Steal your bugs.
We can take
Not my
bugs.
bugs.
You
Your
can
fruit.
Take
Oh,
fish,
no.
You can take fruit. You can't be a jerk though, and apparently, unless you classify the visitor as a best friend, then they're not allowed to take out their shovel or axe, which was a thing that they had to
funny.
worry about in previous games because you'd get strangers that would come to your island and just like chop down all
ransack
your
it.
trees and dig holes everywhere.
There's your
actually
conflict,
really
Joe.
funny.
There's your conflict.
There's the conflict, right? Random
But it's,
jagwagons
but
messing
it's
up your
not there
island.
anymore.
No, it's not there
There's
anymore.
somehow less conflict. In
No,
this
unless
game.
you add them as a best
Yeah,
friend.
let's make everyone a best friend.
Yeah.
Well, it's an
So-
easy conflict to solve. Just remove all of your best friends. Which, again, I don't need a video game to do that. I've done that in real life.
This is true. Joe is notorious for ignoring group chats. So thank you, Joe. We're removed, Kevin, from Joe's life.
Mm-hmm.
This is a group chat. So I'm
This
just
is
gonna-
actually, you know what?
step
this
out
is
here.
the most real life group chat. Well, it's pseudo real life because we're on a set with microphones, but you know what I mean. I get what you're saying. Thank
Can you use the app in Animal, like the Nintendo app, like Smash Brothers has, Splatoon 2?
Yes. So there
has-
is a what is it? The Nintendo Online app is just what it's called.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's just Nintendo Switch Online. something
Yeah.
like that.
So there is a way to use that for.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch
I'm going to
Online.
be wrong on this. I know at the very least you can use it. Oh, you're my friend and we're playing online together. I can message you through that app,
Okay.
which is a little redundant as to why I just wouldn't send you a text message. So there
Mhm.
probably is some like cutesy Animal Crossing-esque type thing in there that you can do through that.
Yeah.
And I would fathom that it's going to maybe tether to the mobile version, and maybe there's like Splatoon, how you can buy certain items through the
Mhm.
store in the app. Like that might be something similar to that. This is definitely a game that I got the impression was going to be constantly evolving, and so there's just a lot of updates that'll be happen periodically. And Animal Crossing is typically good at like celebrating certain holidays and stuff. So
Right.
like the first one they said in the video was Bunny Day, which is clearly Easter. They're just not going to say Easter.
Right.
They're going to have an event for already, which is kind of cool. So we'll see how the app growth works
Bunny
there.
Day.
So other cool things. Last
Cute.
time in the 3DS version, you were Mayor. Now you actually kind of play God. You can do custom paths. You can sculpt land. You can bring water. Like there's a lot of different things you can do there, which is really cool. Amiibo support is announced. So these things that have been sitting in my display case can be put to good use, but they haven't specified what they actually get used for. And they made a point of saying not all of them are going to be available at launch, which leads me to believe there's going to be some association with being able to keep these characters in your game, which makes sense if I scan, I don't even know what the heck that dog's name is on the end.
It's like Isabel. It looks like
not
Isabel.
Slider.
Kinda.
It's like the real estate dog. I don't know, but like if they don't have a character model for this one, scanning her is going to be just nothing. So we'll see what happens there.
There's a real estate agent.
I don't know. I think she judges your house or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Some
Not turning me
fan.
on to the game.
Well, Tom Nook sells you your house and then virtually everything else. So I don't know.
It's
All
like
right.
Second Life, but for like furries.
Cute, adorable
Cute
animals.
animals.
All right,
Uh-huh.
God, Joe.
And you
open your
love the way they
mind.
talk.
Open your mind. I will say,
Kevin, don't talk like you're interested in
No,
the game.
Kevin,
I'm
come
not.
over to my side.
I'm not interested at all, actually.
So the other day, after I had talked to Ada about her affection for Animal Crossing based on this really awful board game.
Oh, she knows about it because of that?
Yes, and she enjoys that,
gosh.
which is fine. Like, there's some charm to it for sure.
Yes.
It's just, if you want a game where like you don't actually have to do anything, that's it. So I took out my 3DS and was
Oh,
like, well, this
man.
is the game and this is my village, and like all the characters were yelling at me because I hadn't turned on the game in 2 years, and I was walking around and stuff. But like within 30 seconds, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this type of game again, which is nice because it's one of those games that I just play in short bursts throughout the day, every day, forever. But yeah, so we'll move on because I know you guys aren't terribly interested.
Nope,
but if
don't
you
move on
are
yet.
looking forward to Animal Crossing,
You have to talk about cloud saves. 'Cause
Oh.
I do know about that nonsense.
Yeah, so again, there's the traditional Nintendo, what are we doing here? Nintendo says cloud saves are not supported.
Which is
but,
bothering me
but-
because they keep doing that for their games. Like they introduce this service and then don't utilize it.
For some
Again,
games.
I understand why, because it has to do with the whole save scumming thing. But
And there's no other solution other than to just not
and
support it.
That's what aggravates me, because like me with my Splatoon 2 data, like there is no backup for that.
Yeah.
And I have like everything. So if like that ever gets lost, that's like I'm screwed.
I mean, every other
So-
gaming platform supports it now.
Yeah,
so
for everything.
Nintendo can't figure out a way
I know
to
they
do
just
it.
need to. It's
no,
got
I'm
to
sure
be
they
like
can
everything.
figure out a way to do it.
It's just easier to not.
It, I don't know. I mean, like, what would a
Like once a day, or if there's like I feel like that's got to be a possibility. Like, because like if I play Smash Brothers, when I close it out, it automatically backs up each time.
okay?
But like Animal Crossing or something, they don't want that to happen where you could kind of cheese the system. Can't they put like a daily cap on it or something?
There has to be.
There has to be a
you would
way to
think,
do
right?
that. Yeah.
So they came out and said, okay, cloud saves not offered.
Initially, they said that.
Well,
Not at all.
not at all. They're not supported. But, and they had the big but, they're offered for backup on Nintendo's terms, meaning like they could back it up for you. And apparently, this means they're open to recovering that data if you, I don't know, drop your Switch and it breaks and you have to get a new one. You can, I guess, contact Nintendo and say, I got a new Switch, I broke it. Can I get my Animal Crossing data? And supposedly you can do that one time. They've actually, like, the fine print somewhere said you can do that once,
That's ridiculous.
which I think is a little ridiculous. I don't know what cheating in this game, like, actually, how that hurts other players. Like, Splatoon at least is competitive. If you want to say, okay, listen, if you find a way to scan the system in Splatoon and you get all the items like
It's
a
more
day
of-
after
it's
the
more
game
of the
comes
rank.
off. Okay, but
That's
even
why.
so, like the competitive side,
Right.
there's some rationale there. It may not make sense, we may not like it,
Yes.
but it's justified to some degree. If I want
This
to
is
save scum
justified.
Animal Crossing to have my trees grow twice as fast, how the heck does
That's
it
not.
impact
That is
anybody?
not what they're worried about. They're
So-
worried about items. That's what the discussion. The little bit that I see, like other people, it's about like if you get an exclusive item from an event
Okay.
and you save scum it and you have 500 of them and you could just easily give them to people or trade them. That's probably their like mindset of it, like limiting it.
So I'm wondering then, as they said, all the updates will be free. I'm wondering if that means that at some point there are going to be things you can purchase that aren't free.
I
And
would
then
not
if they're
be sh-
backed
I would
up to
not
the
be
cloud,
surprised.
then if there's a way to replicate those items and give them to people that didn't pay for them,
Mhm.
then it would make sense. So either they're being stupid or they're just trying to be coy and hope that no one's paying attention to the inevitable maybe DLC that comes out.
I just think they're being too cautious with people who are cheating. Like, there's always going to be people who cheat. Even if
Yeah.
you don't allow cloud saves, there will be people who do it. You're just cracking down on one vector for them to be able to do it. But realistically, find out how to figure out who's cheating and ban them.
Yeah.
You know, ban them from in
Yeah.
Splatoon, ban them, give them penalties for it so that the penalties aren't worth the risk rather than taking away a legitimate feature when the majority of people are going to need this feature and use it in its intended purpose, but you want to stop, a small percentage of people from cheating, so you're going to stop them from using the feature, stop everyone from using the feature. Maybe if you catch them, like, you ever seen like pirated games? Some games, when they detect that they've been pirated, will make it like impossible to beat.
To play it.
Right,
again or
right,
something
Yeah.
too,
So they'll do silly things like that. So, Nintendo, how about if we detect that you're cheating, then
Island just goes under. It's just
yeah,
underwater.
it just
You
explodes.
have one square of land that you can just stand on, and that's it.
I mean, lose. That would be funny. But no, like lose your cloud saves as a penalty. Lose your ability to cloud save as a penalty.
Well, we all know Nintendo does like to dole out harsh punishments. I know there was that news agency they like blacklisted now, and they're suing so and so
Pokemon
because
leaks.
which they're totally within their right to do so. I'm
Yeah.
not saying they're wrong, but there doesn't seem to be any second
My
chance.
whole thing is like
Mhm.
first party Nintendo titles should be using those cloud saves.
I agree.
Yeah, it's
Like, there's-
their
especially
Especially
service.
since
They
it's a
should be
built
utilizing it.
part of
Their
Nintendo
online
Switch
service.
Online. Like they said,
Yes.
hey, you can do this now, and if you're paying, you definitely should be able
Mhm.
to.
That's the one thing I don't like
Right.
with some of these games.
So we'll move on beyond the Animal Crossing speak for now, as I'm sure we'll get a little bit of more information
Speak joke. Come on.
as the weeks get closer. So we do need to own up to some stuff, as the biggest topic of our last podcast was a huge ton of rumors that we missed the mark. We missed the mark really bad, actually.
Mm.
We said there'd be a direct.
I mean, I'm not a market analyst.
No,
Me either.
Kevin is,
But
but
we heard the
I'm a market
chatter.
analyst, but I hear the chatter. as
We hear
Tom
the chat,
says.
and we hear the chatter for so long that eventually you feel like it's bound to be right
Yes.
at some point. So we thought there would be a formal direct or traditional direct coming in January. That didn't happen.
And now it's the end of February.
We
Almost.
thought it'd be coming in February. It didn't happen. We said, oh, the Switch Pro is definitely going to be something that comes out this year. Nintendo's gone on record and said no new hardware in 2020.
Which
so
I fully don't
that's
believe.
out the window.
then.
somebody, I think it might have been an Engadget post that made the point that like, oh, they said this and then introduced a new color. And I don't know if I agree with that or not. Like, it's not new hardware,
It's a new color.
but it is a change that they made when they said there were no
Yeah.
changes. But
It's a
I don't
new
know if I
SKU.
agree.
I
don't know
will
if I
never
agree.
forget the time they said, "Oh, we're not putting out a remodel of the DS," and then DS Lite came out. Like I will not. They like to surprise people. So sometimes when they say those things, I'm like, okay, but then part of me is skeptical. I'm like, we'll see.
Yeah,
So-
and
I mean,
this-
anything can change at any time.
Yeah.
Honestly.
right.
So
And this is the
we'll
time
see.
of year where I think the news has to be taken with a grain of salt, only
Mhm.
because the
Their
fiscal,
fiscal
year,
year
ends
ends in
for
March.
Japan the end of March.
Yep.
So I think when you look at it, that'd be like saying in November here, oh yeah, we're gonna release a new console next year. All right, well, all these people that are shopping for the holiday,
We'll just save
all
their money.
We'll just wait at that point.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense that they would say that now, because arguably you can also say, well, come April when it's Q1 for them, that's their fresh start, right?
And if they
So-
said this year, do they mean like their
Calendar
financial year or
right.
calendar
so
year?
It's a
Like, what
little
do they
vague
mean?
too. So I don't know. We'll see.
It's
I'm
like
not.
loopholes, eh?
I'm not going to hold my breath for it at this
Yeah.
point. It will happen, I'm sure, but probably
I
next
hope.
year. I'm going to say next year. I'm just going to keep myself in check here. Say next year. So we
Next
were wrong.
calendar year, next fiscal year,
Next calendar year. I think.
or next school year.
Oh God, there's so many years.
But what is so there's all that stuff about like the hardware, like the screens. And that's why I'm like something is happening, whether it's Pro, like successor. Those are the only two options I have.
Well,
I don't know
those
what
are-
else is.
Yeah, I mean
That's
that,
it.
that
So
makes sense.
I mean, until we see a patent for anything, like I know, I think I mentioned this last time. Obviously, patents are nothing to go by. You don't go, oh,
Not with
hey,
Nintendo especially.
here's
They patent everything.
yeah.
everything.
I mean, most
Yeah.
companies do. You know, anytime you have an idea, you patent it in case you can work on it later, so nobody takes it or anything. So I'm not saying, oh, if we see a patent, something's definitely coming. But if we don't see one, I won't expect anything until we do.
Well, yeah, but that. I guess maybe because that makes sense. I can't argue that.
Yeah.
But
But I'm saying if it would have to be out there, like we would have to see it, you know. Like I think
Or
there's
at
kind
least,
of like
like,
a
signs of it.
trend that these things follow. Like you'll see patents for it, and then it'll go a little dark, and then you might see like some rumors that may
Mm-hmm.
or may not be true, and then you start to see like FCC filings, which are when things get like a little bit more serious. But like
yeah, I guess that's
Yeah.
true.
the FCC filings show different things than the patents. Like you get more physical view information
Yeah.
from the patents, but the FCC filings, you'll see like, oh, there's a new radio in this for Wi-Fi, cellular, whatever. Now we have an idea like if there's this much new technology in it, it's more than likely going to be a new device or a small upgrade or something like that. So until we start seeing that trend, patent, FCC filing, I wouldn't expect anything.
That's a good point.
Until we see
'cause
that.
People will file patents just to kind of protect themselves legally on the off chance that this tech gets used elsewhere. They just want to protect their research and development.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's been several patents that have never seen the light of day of anything.
Oh, there's some absolutely crazy ones out there
Oh, I'm
for,
still waiting
from
for
every
the,
company.
The Nintendo Vitality sensor. But
I think they said they canned that.
did they?
I think.
I mean,
I'm not.
sure.
That was
yeah,
a
I
long
wouldn't be
time ago.
surprised if it didn't find its way into a Joy-Con. Apparently,
Mhm.
with the Ring Fit Adventure, you can use the IR sensor to like check your heart rate and stuff. So like, there's probably elements of that patent in
In
that
other
hardware.
things.
Yeah. And that's
why you
another
make
reason to have them.
patents. Right.
Mhm.
What about the Game Boy gas mask thing for the hospitals for little kids?
Oh yeah.
You think we'll ever see that?
No, I don't
incorporated
think
in the
so.
Switch?
No.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. Look
You
that
haven't
up
seen that,
on,
Kevin?
On
I don't
Google or
know if I've ever
YouTube.
seen
It is
that.
a very strange apparatus.
Yeah, watch the whole video. It's absolutely worth watching. Like of all just the strange things that didn't come to be that were attachments for the Game Boy. It's actually amazing what that tiny little device could do
Yeah.
with just a link cable and some weird thing on the other end of it that they even like considered could happen. But when you get to the last one, it's just you'll wonder. You'll wonder
Doesn't the
about
Angry
everything.
Video Game Nerd have it?
He's got some weird stuff, but I
Like
don't think he has
prototype?
that because I don't know if that existed.
I don't know. I think it was some. Yeah.
He's got some
Um,
cool stuff though.
Okay, so now that we've said we were wrong about a lot of that stuff, hear me out.
What were we right about?
We were right about nothing.
Rumors.
That
We
is
were right about
right that
nothing.
there's rumors.
really
We were right that
sad.
there were rumors, and that we've now said those rumors are incorrect, and we will not listen to any more rumors. But
Speak for yourself. I love listening to rumors.
Kevin is our resident rumor mill dude. Although I unearthed some stuff yesterday.
Yeah,
that
which
you
I
were
was like,
"Where'd you get
where
this?"
did you get
And I
that
had to
from?
vet some sources, and it was funny because I sent you that link, and then because it was the only place that had run that story. By the time I went back in my history to double check, there were 3 more outlets that were running that story. So,
But were they all like circular? Were they all referencing each other?
I don't know.
Like
Maybe.
A got it from B got it from C got it from Wikipedia.
That's what they do,
Yeah.
especially when it comes down to rumor mills.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's the latest string of rumors, and I'm curious what you guys think of this. So apparently,
Yes.
No.
I don't want to say it. Like I feel dirty just with it leaving my mouth. Apparently, there's a claim that says that a more traditional direct is coming in the second week of March. As Kevin goes to his calendar. Now, I think
already-
it was in retrospect. I think that's the smart way to do it, and I think I said this to Kevin in the group chat.
Why
'cause
are you
Joe's
looking at
reading.
me?
I had to think about it for a second. It actually makes sense that they'd want to focus on Animal Crossing first versus here's a butt ton of stuff all at once, maybe over 20, 40 minutes, and you can look forward to it in spring, summer of 2020. And then a week or two later saying, here's a thing on one game. And if you've already got, like, I think people were clamoring for so much information or news that, okay, I might not be interested in Animal Crossing, but Nintendo's giving me something, so I'm going to pay attention a little bit. Let it hog the spotlight and not be in the shadow of the direct. I think
Right.
that makes sense.
I agree with you with that.
So if it is coming the second week of March, supposedly there are bombs that are dropping in that realm. To the tune of, Kevin, I'm going to let you say this one.
Metroid Prime 4.
Supposedly we're going to get some sort of look at Metroid.
Did that
Prime
hurt?
4.
Still,
That looked like it hurt
please, my
to
heart
speak.
hurts saying that.
His heart
I just
hurts.
want that game. I want the trilogy remastered first, but I'd be happy with just a trailer.
I
Like,
have to imagine
If it's, I don't care if it's
Just
gameplay
just
or
a
not.
color palette. I would take
I
anything at
don't
this
take
point.
anything.
Well, he's already got the title screen.
Besides, that
Okay,
wasn't the
that's
title
fair.
screen. It was the title.
It could be. You know what? Put press start at the bottom and it's a title screen. God damn it, Kevin.
I mean, I'm sorry. When it gets to Metroid, I get very nitpicky and accurate.
Also, there's no start button on the Switch.
Shut up, Joe. Anyway,
Press the plus button.
It's but you don't press that. You press L and
no,
R.
you press the you press shoulder buttons. Anyway,
Do you even own a
we
Switch? Tom?
digress.
no, I sold mine
Oh.
for drugs. No, I'm kidding. Don't give me that weird look.
Gosh,
Jeez.
what's wrong with you?
So you're expecting maybe a trailer?
If they're showing, I mean, we don't know how far that game is in development. And Retro has been like hiring people for
right.
big positions, so it's like, how much is done? Nobody knows except Retro and Nintendo.
When did we get that announcement that said, "Hey, we're starting over"?
I'll find out.
Was that at the end of last year? Has this been in development for a full year?
I think
or did
so.
it start this January?
No, I feel like it was the
feel like it was
end
longer.
of obviously not last year, the year before, 2018.
Which feels like almost
Okay,
forever ago.
the game announcement trailer that was just like the title
Yeah.
was June 13th, 2017. So that was when they just announced it was in development. When
It was January that announcement came down because it was like
Yes, it's
everyone's
right
like,
here.
Oh, it's going to be a direct, and they
it
said,
was January 25th, 2019.
okay, so it's
So
been
it's
a
been
full
a
year,
year.
which is probably enough to get a trailer. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Nintendo when they announced. Was it Pokemon Let's Go? They were like, "Oh, here's a guy sitting at a desk, and he's basically saying Pokemon's coming out."
Mhm.
And that's all we got. So, like, what if we got that, Kevin?
I'd be pissed. Like, don't even talk about it unless you have something nice to show.
Okay,
I think that's most Metroid fans would probably agree with me. I think.
all 2 of you.
Don't diss the Metroid fan base like that. They will come after you.
Well, they don't really tend to buy the games. That's
No,
part of the
that's
problem.
false. The Metroid fan base buys the games. It's the general public does not buy the game.
I have to imagine when we hear things like, "Oh, we're really pleased with the sales numbers of Tokyo Mirage Sessions." Well, I want to know what those numbers look like because that's a really niche game. So if they're happy with 200,000 copies, is that enough to recoup costs? I don't know what that looks like. So like, what would be good numbers for a Metroid game?
I have no idea.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, I think a trailer would be really cool. It's a series that I played on the GameCube, and you will be happy to know
It's a
that
series that I love.
on the Super
Love
Nintendo
it.
app on the Switch, I did start Super Metroid.
Wait, when you say start, have you ever played it before?
So I played it and I got pretty far into it,
I'm about to leave.
but I also got stuck. And I don't mean stuck
Mm.
like I don't know where to go. Like I think that I physically found a glitch in the game. Like I got to a point where I was not able to get back out of. Like I had to blow a hole in the ceiling and jump through, but I couldn't actually. I didn't have the means to do it. So I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. But I tried it again because of how much you love this game. I
game's
tried to get back
incredible.
into it. I also tried to play
So
Sonic the
good.
Hedgehog for real this time, and that was actually a lot more fun. But anyway, I digress. So Metroid Prime 4. Joe, do you have any like I don't know emotional attachment to this game? Was this a series that you were big on as a kid or got into in the GameCube era? We know Kevin's feelings about it. We can see them through his pants.
Just-
but
Oh my gosh. Tom,
Cool. I don't like the
Sorry.
term.
wildly inappropriate
Follow that
today.
up.
I really don't like the turn that this podcast
I
is
know,
taking.
it's
So
getting a little
anyway,
crazy.
I played a little bit on Game Boy. Wasn't my cup of tea back then. I played the 2 of the GameCube ones, I think,
Okay.
and did really enjoy them. I had a lot of fun. I don't know if I ever finished any of them, but that was during the era where I just never completed a video game at all. But I did enjoy the games. So if this one comes out and it looks good, like I'm keeping an eye on it. You know,
Okay.
if we get an announcement for it, then I will say I will absolutely look out for this one. And if it looks good enough, then I'm certainly going to buy it and play it. But the fact that there hasn't been any more news isn't kind of tearing me up inside like it
Yeah.
is to Kevin. Like, oh well, it'd be
I'm
cool to
just
have some
like,
info,
I'm
but
just waiting.
I can wait.
I'm just waiting.
I've got enough games and not enough time anyway. So
Yeah.
Fair enough. This is the slow season. So we're gonna try and pick up the pace a little bit. Just want to be very cognizant of the time, as our last episode ran very long.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a very long episode. So supposedly on top of this, there is talk of Pikmin 4 coming out of the woodworks as well for a new installment.
Pikmin 1, for lack of a better word, irked me with the timing system, and
Which is why I like Pikmin 2 better.
there's no timing system. I never played it.
I like Pikmin
Actually,
3
you
even
know what?
more.
I think it was Pikmin 3. I don't think I played 2.
Yeah.
Pikmin 3 was
Pikmin 3 is great.
awesome.
I'm mad I didn't get the finish.
my
And they
problem
got
is-
rid of that whole notion of
Okay.
you need to do things within a certain time.
It just
Yeah.
it killed me because like you have a time limit to complete like the entire game, and you're sending your Pikmin to go like carry things back for you, and like, all right, the clock's ticking, and I can't do anything to speed it up.
Right.
It's like I don't know, being a manager at a fast food chain. You just like everybody's running slow, and I can't do anything about it. It just it just kind of sucked for that. And it was a lot of like anxiety of like, all right, Pikmin, move faster, move fast. All right, well, I quit.
Well, if you still have your Wii U hooked up,
I do.
I will lend you
Pikmin 3 is
I
good.
played it. It's a really good game.
I'm surprised
I'll
they have
play it.
not ported that to the Switch. There was like rumors about it, so I'm wondering, is it going to be Pikmin 4, or are we going to get Pikmin 3 Deluxe? Are we going to get both?
We have to
Maybe?
get something. I mean, it's a
it's a
relatively
new-
well-known game, and
I mean,
people
it
tend
came
to
out
enjoy
on
it.
The first game was on the GameCube. right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It was a launch title,
second
or
one
close to
was-
launch title.
Was it really a
Okay.
launch title?
It
So
was
I'm
in the launch
wondering-
window.
I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if they did something in the similar vein of here's Pikmin 4, kind of like the Bayonetta 1 and 2. Like
Yeah.
we're also going to put 3 because I think that's the most up-to-date version of the game.
Yes.
And I think it'd be a
Well,
great way to
chronologically,
introduce
that makes
people
sense.
to the franchise that maybe didn't have a GameCube,
Yeah.
right? Because that kind of falls in that category of lapse. Like as soon as the N64 hit, and even that was a tough sell for Nintendo, people kind of fell off. So if they're getting back with the Switch, that could be a good way to introduce them to that. So that was on the list. There's also some chatter going on about the development of Breath of the Wild 2. They've been doing a lot of hiring for that, right? Kevin, you've been scoping that out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I
Like,
thought-
I
I
think
thought-
that's all in
Technicians or something? Because
Yeah, like what are they hiring for?
I think designers mainly. Like there were
Well, I
some
can't do
hirings they
that.
made where
Really?
people said, "Oh, this is great because these are the people that are going to work on like the dungeon design and all that other stuff." So, maybe
Oh no, I know what you're talking about now. I don't know if anybody knows for sure if that was for Breath of the Wild's sequel or for something else.
okay,
But I do remember those job postings that you mentioned.
okay. So I'm not going too crazy.
no,
but,
no.
But apparently, the development on Breath of the Wild 2 is moving slower than anticipated,
supposedly,
which is
'Cause
not.
we don't know.
Listen, Breath of the Wild teaser was out when, and then it came out like 5-6 years later. Like,
Well,
they will
yeah,
take
that
their
was a
time
different
with this
story.
franchise.
Yeah, yeah.
And anything's going to be faster than that. I mean, they teased it across like different consoles, and
Yes.
it died and came back, and not that it ever stopped production, but like we didn't hear about it for a while, and
Yeah.
then it came back, and it almost felt like a new
It
game
was
because
like Twilight Princess had the same
yeah.
Right.
development cycle.
Well, right,
And that's
because
fine,
of
like-
the new system as well.
Yeah.
They probably
If
took some
this is the
time.
new trend that they're following with Zelda, just the way it's made, and that's the way it sounds from the way they've talked about it. It's going to be a huge game
Oh,
from
yeah.
here on out, and it's only going to get bigger. So
Right.
they're going to need to take their time on it, and it's going to be just a a huge endeavor and a huge team to work on it. Whatever time they have to take it. It's
Take
going to
it.
be such a good game.
Do you think it's coming out
Yeah.
this year? Yes or no? Joe,
I don't think so.
Tom.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no also.
I would love it if it did. That would just complete me. But no, I don't think it's coming this year.
Yeah.
I think it might even be a stretch for next year, but I think there's a very definite possibility, but absolutely not this year.
I'm
gonna
like, make it beautiful, and I
say-
can wait.
Yeah.
I will wait.
You know what? They gave us a pretty extensive trailer, like almost right out the gate.
That's extensive.
For
What
a
do you
game that-
consider extensive?
Yeah.
Well, I
what?
mean, there was no gameplay.
That
but
was
as
just
far
like-
as-
And that's when I'll think they're
little-
serious about completion time, about like when it's going to be done.
Oh,
when
I
we get
guarantee they're
gameplay.
serious. That is money in the bank when they release that game.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
they're not
say-
sitting on it.
No,
No.
of course, but that's what I'm saying. That when you know that they're getting close is when they start putting out gameplay
Oh, like
footage.
hyping it.
Yeah, like when we know that we can see what the game's actually going to look like, that's when we're getting into a realistic window of when it's going to come out.
Yeah.
Do you think they would show whatever the next direct is? Do we think there will be some trailer or anything about it, or do you think they save it till E3? I feel like it's their first big direct. Show something.
I don't think they will.
I don't
think
think
they
so
will?
either.
I think some of their tentpole stuff they're going to leave out of this. I wouldn't be surprised if the next direct focused on maybe some ports, maybe some
Doom Eternal, you know.
probably.
No, they would if
some
it's in March,
third-party
right?
stuff. They'll probably do the quick mentions of games that are coming out like right around the corner.
They always do like a sizzle reel kind of.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we're getting anything super mage unless they do throw us Metroid Prime 4 and Pikmin 4, which could be a possibility because they don't need to say these games are coming out soon. They can just say they're coming. But
Announce
those also
them.
feel like games that are going to be big E3 things. So we'll see. Moving on, because of the slow development of Breath of the Wild 2, supposedly Mario Kart 9 might be an actual thing, and we might be hearing about it sooner rather than later.
Mhm. There is at least one person on Twitter who has since got a cease and desist from Nintendo. They said, who hinted at this very vaguely, but they said expect something with wheels, and everybody right away was like Mario Kart,
Which would
as
be
potential
cool.
big
Well,
title.
there's no wheels in F-Zero, so it's kind of got to be Mario
Exactly,
Kart.
This
yeah.
is true. On that survey, that was the game I requested. They said, "What game that has been lying dormant?" And is that one of the questions? I think I snuck our question.
Yeah, you
in
put
Was
there.
F-Zero in
was
there.
Fast RMX not enough for you?
I was more of a Uniracers kind of guy. Sorry. All right. Anyway, last bit of news. Sakurai has come out and said that Fighter Pass 2 will be the last additional content to Smash Ultimate before he takes a 12-hour nap and then begins work on the next
12-hour
installment
nap.
of the game.
I hope he gets to
12
do
hours.
something else.
That's like
Get something
hibernation for
else.
him.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, this man does not like to slow down. Some quick numbers. Switch sales crossed over 50 million, which has surpassed the Xbox One. PS4
That's crazy to me.
Jumped over 100 million. Yeah, that is insane. I
Yeah.
think PS4, they said, hit 50 million in 37 months. The Switch did it in 34.
Okay.
I don't know how the offset affects because the Switch launched in March
Mhm.
and the PS4, I believe, launched in October or November. So holiday, there's the word. Holiday sales probably influence the initial surge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens over the next few months as they're now saying some of the stuff with the coronavirus could be impacting
Shipments,
production
yeah.
and shipments. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're just sitting in a tanker somewhere in a shipyard just waiting to be let out. So we'll see. But that was really, really cool. We're going to skip that section in interest of time. Platinum Games has been pretty busy lately. Supposedly some
let's
major
look.
announcements are coming soon. But Kevin and I both very quickly jumped on
Flipped
the
out.
Kickstarter campaign for Wonderful 101, which is a Wii U game that was really good. and
Which
just
I will admit I've never heard of.
Oh my
Ma-
gosh.
it was really good. But it was made less fun because of its wonky control
Yes.
system. That kind of like, oh, you want to do this attack? Draw this pattern on the touchscreen, and you would like draw it and be like, you drew a line. No, I drew a circle. But
yeah,
it had a very hard
malfunctioned
time
a little bit.
figuring out what
Such a
was what.
zany, like crazy game. It's just like over the top. It's so cool.
It is.
But again,
yeah.
like I got that, but then on the Wii U, I was all in on Splatoon. So like this game fell to the wayside. So I'm happy that I will be able to play it.
Yeah, I'm
now.
excited. And supposedly we're getting it early. I've been saying supposedly a lot. There's been a lot of stuff out there we can't really confirm.
I mean, early.
Well, the Kickstarter announced they hit their goal in like
Less than 24 hours.
less than 24
I think they hit it in
hours.
20 minutes.
Yeah,
I would say, yeah, wasn't it like
smashed through it.
24
Like,
minutes or something when they hit it?
crazy.
Yeah.
And they didn't just hit it; like they blew it
It was
away. Like
blown
they're
out of
like
the water.
20 times over.
I'm actually looking right now to see how much they have currently.
Right.
Too
Supposedly
much.
with Nintendo's blessing as well. They kind of went to them and said, hey, we would like to kind of keep ownership of this title. Can we publish it ourselves? And then Nintendo said, go for it, which is really interesting because their initial goal, I think, was like $50,000.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe
Where the heck is this?
Nintendo for 50 grand could have said, no,
Mhm.
we'll fund the game. Here's 50,000. Like,
Yeah, that's nothing
I
to
feel like
them.
it's a huge Nintendo. Hopefully, is kicking themselves
Can I tell
and
you?
using this as a lesson to
It
hold on
has
to
been
other IPs.
yeah.
3,433% funded.
Do we have the dollar amount?
Yes.
Why? Just stop giving it money at this
it's
point.
$1,672,509 has been pledged. There are 26,230 backers. There are 14 days left if you're interested in supporting the wonderful 101 Remastered Kickstarter. And it's pretty much on Switch, PS4,
Well, it will be, right?
Steam.
I think the PS4 was a stretch goal.
No, they hit that.
Oh, no, they hit it, but it wasn't
Yeah.
initially. set
Oh,
for
initially
that.
no, but they hit that.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of like backing package you could choose. Like you could pick like a physical copy, a digital copy, 2 physical, 1 physical, 1 digital, and they have a whole bunch of other bonuses if you
Yeah,
want.
there's a lot of stuff. I really wanted the one with the vinyl record, but it was like
That's a lot of money.
it was a lot of money.
There's a lot of money.
So I did get the physical version.
Same. I got 2 because I'm
I was
gonna keep
say,
one
correct
forever
Yourself. Yep. Kevin got 2.
I
He buys 2 of
upgraded.
everything.
because I want that and I'm gonna save it for my game museum.
Kevin's Game Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's got a copy he can lend Joe.
No.
Okay. I tried, Joe.
Oh, ouch.
I'll lend it to you. That's fine.
Okay.
So that was really cool. We'll see what comes
I'll
out.
loan you my Wii U copy.
We'll see what Platinum Games announces the next few days, as they've got everyone's eyes on them for some major news. They're saying Atlas is coming to Switch. Some of their games, Catherine Full Body and XCOM 2, got rated for the Switch, which is a good indication that they're going to be put out there. It's wonderful. I'm really pissed that I bought Catherine for the PS4 because I would have bought it on Switch. That's a cool game if you're into weird, seductive puzzle. It's a
Just
weird
a weird
game.
description.
It's a really cool story-based game with puzzle elements to it, but it is kind of just out of left field a little bit. Really, really cool. I very much enjoyed the story in that game. So we're all now hoping that Atlas decides to bless us with Persona. We will see.
They said something recently too, I think on Twitter, like, oh,
Don't give up hope.
don't
Yeah,
give-
keep
yeah.
asking for it.
But I think Sony owns the I don't know if it's not the publishing rights, but I think they own the exclusivity rights. So I don't know. Like Sony would need to say, okay, it's fine, and they're the last company that will let their games go on their
annoying.
systems.
Done it like once or twice before, but it's not very common for Sony.
Yeah, but they've been
That's
last
good
to do it, and I feel
publicity
like they've
for
been
them if
doing
they do it though.
reluctantly.
Like, do they not realize that? Like the consumers are like, oh, it's so cool they did it. Like, look what Microsoft did with some stuff going on the Switch.
Yeah. Oh no,
Like-
absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
Thing is, Microsoft has like a new philosophy now, which is we are more software than hardware, and it makes more sense to put our software on every ecosystem everywhere. And that's, obviously not just for Xbox. They do it with Office. They're doing it with all their applications. They're pushing Android as their main OS. So that's something that Microsoft does. It's not something that Sony does.
Yeah.
But Sony's idea is probably what, everybody else's idea when it comes to exclusives, which is if you want to play the game, you buy our system. Now we just made, $350 off of you as opposed to just $50
Right,
from
right,
buying it
right.
on another console.
So we'll see. There's still hope. I mean, MLB The Show has been a Sony exclusive game for a decade, and that was announced recently that they'll be expanding to other platforms, not this current year, but next year. So it's very possible we'll actually get a licensed baseball game on the Switch, which would be really cool. Well, a good licensed baseball game. I think I have RBI Baseball, which was fun. It's like not even arcadey. They use real players, but it's not the best. It's for $30. It was cool. I'll probably get back into it when baseball season starts. So we're gonna skip over what are we playing because this is a really slow time of year and there's not much going on, which is totally cool. Although, Kevin, just tell everyone what you did with Zelda, please.
I finally defeated Ganon after waiting for a long time. Joe,
There are people who have
I-
beat this game in
I don't
7.5
wanna hear it.
minutes.
I don't want to hear it. So, and that's not. That's cool for them. That's all I'm gonna say. That's great for them. I take my time,
But you can.
but I'm
keep
also
playing.
100. I am. So I started the Champions Ballad, and I love
Okay.
it. It's really cool so far.
Get that motorcycle, son.
I am, and then I'm gonna ride it once and never use it again because
Did-
I like the horses.
I use the motorcycle all the time.
Really?
It's just because you can.
It's a motorcycle in a Zelda game. It just makes no sense.
But you
I
can.
fast traveled. I'm not gonna lie.
And I fast travel too. And
Well,
then
yeah,
I
but
use
if you're
the
going
horse with the ancient armor, I just warp it to me.
I guess I was gonna say you can summon the motorcycle anywhere you want and just hop on
Oh,
and
you
keep
can
going.
too?
Yeah,
Okay.
You can also beat the game and then not play it anymore.
Lame. I'm gonna play master mode when I'm done
this is true.
You-
because if we have to wait for.
Master mode was.
I also finished the compendium. That's done.
Did you do the trials?
100%. The
Oh, yeah,
sword?
trials,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did that when that came out.
Oh,
Originally.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm almost done with that. It's giving me a hard time. But
The third set is crazy.
It's that's the one that's giving me a
Mhm.
hard time. But master mode was just so difficult. Like it wasn't fun.
Oh yes.
Like it's not even that it was hard in the sense that like I was getting the crap beat out of me. It was more that like I just spent 20 minutes trying to kill one single Bokoblin, and I'm like this is a waste of my time. I'm just gonna go do anything else.
Interesting that you say that, Joe,
Mm.
as it's a perfect connection to a video essay I've been putting together on difficulty in video games and accessibility and stuff. And I think that speaks of like where we are as the level 30 gamer. The challenge in that does not like that seems to offset my enjoyment to the point where it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see. But Zelda games as a whole, because they've been getting so grandiose, are harder and harder to like replay again. So like if they decide, oh, we're gonna put Twilight Princess on the Switch, what the hell? I would probably reluctantly buy that game for the third time because it is
Yeah.
my favorite series. It's probably my least favorite in the series. But like that then would say, okay, dude, you spent $60 on this. You're gonna play through it again. Even if it's a 35-hour game to play through a second time, it's so difficult.
especially
to
when
do.
see like if they released Ocarina, like the nicer version from the 3DS, again, I would play through that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
But
'cause
Twilight Princess, I'd buy it maybe to have it and maybe play it, but I would not be in a rush to play that again.
no, definitely not.
And then there's Wind Waker, which I'm tempted to like complete yearly. I love that game.
That game is so good. I really do hope they port the HD version over.
Yeah.
It's I
They
will
should.
say part of the
quality of
charm
life
is
stuff good.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But part of the charm is that it's a little bit easier than most Zelda games. Like I beat that entire game without dying once. The last time I played it.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
It's
the-
not difficult.
The hero mode just means you take more damage.
Yeah, but I never even got
Also,
close to
don't
dying
hearts
the
not
last time I
show up
played it.
in the wild, I think.
Oh,
sorry,
maybe
what?
They don't.
I think
yeah.
hearts don't show
I
up
think and
often.
hearts
Oh.
don't show up.
Some
But you can find trillions of butterfly pendants because that's cool. All right, so we don't have any listener questions this week. As well, truth be told, I think
have any
was,
listeners.
I think it was Monday when we realized that wait, we should be doing a podcast.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
week. I'm going to gloss over that.
It's been a busy
very
month.
hurtful but true joke that Joe said. It has been kind of a busy month outside of the level 30 spectrum. So very happy to be here with you gents today, but I didn't want to put a question up there to not get any answers. So I stole some questions from the survey.
stealing so much lately.
Right?
Well, if it's good, then we're going to borrow it.
You say borrow.
Borrow. Sorry.
stole.
Borrow. It's not a crime. This
All
is
right, lightning round. Do
yeah,
this.
here we go. Okay. So one of the questions was, and these are very similar, but which first-party franchise do you want to see on the Switch that isn't there already? I'm going to go to Kevin first.
I want Kid Icarus.
Interesting choice.
And I want it made by Sakurai. So after Smash Bros. Is done, take a break and make a new Kid Icarus or remaster Uprising.
So you played Uprising?
Oh, I loved that.
And do you want it to follow the same concept of kind of this quasi on rails shooter, or
Yeah, I like that.
okay?
They could expand upon that, and at least we would have better controls because playing that game on the DS was brutal.
That was the one where they gave the extension pad, right?
Yeah.
Like a little pseudo dock that you can like rest your wrist
Mhm.
on because you had to draw with the. I
yeah,
remember
it
that.
was it was cumbersome.
Yep, I still have that little
Yeah, me too.
pseudo shelf thing
have all
that
that.
they gave you. It's a good one. I would like to see that kind of come back too, because that's a character that gained some popularity because of Smash Brothers, as Smash Brothers is really good at bolstering the popularity of certain games.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Emblem, but Kid Icarus. After he kind of became that character, it's like, all right, you can't be Kid Icarus because you can spam that move across.
You mean
the
you
stage
can't be
all the time.
Pit?
Pit.
Go
Pit.
on.
Sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Cut.
Yep, we're done. Joe, you have the keys to level 30 now. And Kevin, I'm so sorry. I didn't have the camera on you because I forgot I had to do that.
It's okay.
In that answer. So Joe, you
Don't
are
need to be
intently
seen.
listening to Kevin's answer. Thank you.
That's fair.
Um,
Okay. Good thing I didn't use that time to do anything embarrassing.
Pick your nose.
Well, the camera's not on me.
That's how it works. Joe, what game would you like to see come back to the Switch?
Does what I wrote count? Does Advance Wars count?
Hell yeah, it counts.
It's because I don't. It's not developed first party, but it's published by them.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's-
I loved
it is.
Advance Wars.
Intelligent Systems, right?
I don't recall.
I think that's it.
I wikied
don't
it
know.
earlier today. Point is, I loved it
phone
on
looks dead.
3DS. It was so much fun on 3DS. It did this thing where like every mission was easy, and then you hit one, and it was pretty much impossible.
Oh yeah.
But
How
it
many
was
how
a
many
lot of
games
fun.
Were on the 3DS. Was it just the one?
Literally hundreds.
No, it was
Oh, for Advance Wars,
Advance
I'm pretty
Wars.
sure it was just the one.
okay because I think that was the one I really got into. I didn't play it on Game Boy Advance. Because
Did you
I think
play-
the original
Might have.
Advance Wars came out on Game Boy Advance,
Okay.
and then
Makes sense.
Battalion Wars came out on the GameCube. That game was cool.
had it.
Really.
I liked that.
Wasn't there a Wii version as well?
I don't know.
I think there was.
But I remember Battalion Wars. I was like, this game's cool. It was very different than Advance Wars, though, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was kind of like a third person.
It was like live action, not.
squadron based.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was cool.
It was cool. Oh, remember the Army Men games? Those games sucked.
For N64,
Sure.
Sarge's
PlayStation.
Heroes was like
Yes!
one of my favorite games.
Oh my god.
I loved that game. I probably put more hours into that than most games I like am currently playing.
We should have done. Next time we got a slow news week, which won't happen between now and June. But I think
there's
we're
a
gonna
direct
have to,
coming.
We're gonna have to dedicate a guilty pleasures episode and just talk about all these games that
I'm in.
have long gone forgotten. No, Advance Wars would be awesome.
hmm
I said F-Zero.
F-Zero, please.
I didn't care for the game on Super Nintendo that much. I played it at
Nah.
my friend's beach house, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." But it was, I think, one of the first games I got with the Game Boy Advance, the old school system, because there was only so many things you can get. And it was F-Zero, and I got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which was awesome.
Did you play F-Zero GX on the GameCube?
Yes,
That is like
and
the
I
best one.
Loved it.
The best one.
Yeah, the 64 version I didn't care much for, but the GameCube one, that was a game where
so good.
I was in college and we were kind of going through like these hardcore waves of, all right, this is the game we're playing all the time until it's done.
Mhm.
And we just could not get through F-Zero.
That is the only GameCube game that I still keep out because I could play that on my Wii if I want to.
Yeah, it's beautiful looking
It's
too.
so
Sega made
good.
it, right?
Yeah, they developed it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was a really good game. So I would love to see that come back. I would love to see them actually do something like character-wise with Captain Falcon. He's been such an icon because of Smash.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
think like if you ask kids now, like, where's Captain Falcon from? They might not even really know.
Smash
they would
Brothers.
know,
Smash Brothers.
but like
But
not
never have actually played the game.
Yeah, played
Yeah.
F-Zero. So I would love to see that come
They
back.
did story stuff in that GameCube version. It was light, but
Yeah.
the single player mode.
It's like a very pseudo, like,
It's like weird.
kind of cross between a Star Wars-y world and like Blade
Mhm.
Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Well, I would love to see that come back. Never say never. Please bring it back. Thank you. All right,
Or
and then
remaster the GameCube one at least.
that'd be fine too.
I'm fine with that.
New cutscenes. Next question, I guess last question before we wrap up. Which third-party franchise would you like to see that isn't already here?
I was a little clueless on this one.
Kevin shrugged. We'll
I was
buy him
like,
some time. Joe has a very interesting response, and I'm awaiting his explanation.
So okay, well I put two in there. My, obviously
Is
I
one
want.
serious or is one not?
They're both serious.
Okay.
I would like Borderlands strictly for the fact that I want a portable Borderlands, but actually with Project xCloud, I don't really need that anymore because I can just
Fair enough.
bring my controller. But I want Glover.
Oh my gosh.
You shut up. You shut your
Well,
mouth.
I'm not judging. I'm just like
No,
Glover.
you're
what?
judging. And
You
that's-
you were judging
little
and
bit,
not
a little
silently
bit.
either. I want Glover. I didn't
Why?
play as much Glover as I would have hoped as a kid. But I don't know. It was a cute little glove on a ball, and I don't know. Honestly, it's probably completely nostalgia. I think
Yeah.
if the game came out now, I'd pick it up for 5 minutes and go, "This is garbage. I want my money back."
I don't think I've ever played it. Was it a
never did.
Nintendo 64 exclusive or was it on PlayStation 1 as well?
Excuse me.
I'm fairly certain it was an exclusive,
Okay.
and you were just a glove
I can
on a
picture
ball
the
and an
box
adventure
art,
game.
but
I
I
can
don't think
too.
I've ever actually played it.
I think
Yeah,
he's
play
like on a ball, like rolling
That's why I
away from like
laughed. I
the
was like,
Yeah, with
apocalypse
that,
or
like,
something.
the high angle, like kind of tilted down at him.
Yeah.
It's just like, does he have a face? There's no face, right?
Yeah, he's got like a very blank expression,
Oh,
just
it
like
does?
2 eyes, and he might not even have a mouth.
Like the
I
old
think he's
school
just
Disney like
just a
eyes
glove.
and stuff.
I just like the idea
Third-party
that someone
franchise.
somewhere in a meeting said, "You know what would make a really great character?"
A
This
glove.
is it,
glove.
guys. This is the
A
next mascot.
glove.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I
terrible.
can't think third-party stuff off the top of my head easily.
I just kind of looked at it. Well, what exclusives are out there that I would like to play in this on this system where I can then take with me?
I know which one I want. I want the sequel to Ori on the Switch, but that's not happening.
Well, I would say that counts. It's a third-party franchise. and
Yeah.
even though the first one's there, that was I feel like special arrangement. So we'll
Mhm.
see if.
I just don't know if the Switch will be able to handle a new one because isn't that coming out on the Xbox One?
Yeah, but didn't the
Okay.
first one come out on the Xbox One? It wasn't like it was a 360 game. No, I could probably
Oh.
handle it if they got the first one to run as well as
If
it
they
did.
got The Witcher running, they'll get
Yeah,
anything
anything
else
just
possible.
running.
match
Well,
The Witcher.
Yeah, so it
even
looks better. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
really?
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my
I
third
want
party
that.
franchise choice, I mentioned it before, would be
Vex for GameCube.
Gex.
My
Vex.
Vex. No.
No, nobody else
Racers.
has ever heard of it.
I think it's long overdue for No, I'm kidding.
Vector
it's not
Man.
Unit Racers. Oh my god, Vector Man was terrible. Yeah, no, we're doing a guilty pleasure episode soon. I went with Persona 5 Royal, mainly because
He wants to play Persona 5 again.
I do. And if Persona 5 came out on the Switch, I probably would be tempted to get it because I would play it again.
Mm.
But I would love to play the version. I guess I could play it on the PS4, but I would love to have it on Switch where I can play the extended version of it because we're talking. This is a 100-hour JRPG,
Mm.
and it's amazing. But I couldn't do 100 hours again if there wasn't added content. That'd be a really tough sell. So I'm hoping for that one. I don't think it'll happen. I'm very excited for Persona 5 Strikers, which has kind of been alluded to more of a sequel in a different kind of gameplay.
Didn't it
But
come out yet?
no, it's coming.
Oh.
Oh, it came out in Japan, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And there's a demo in the Japanese eShop.
Anything like Mario Strikers?
No.
No.
Oh, man. Why didn't we bring that one back? I would like to
We don't have time to talk about that.
F-Zero and put Mario Strikers. We don't have time to talk about that. Let us know what games or franchises you would like to see on the system. Either a dormant Nintendo franchise, 1080 maybe, Wave Race maybe. There's a
I
lot
feel
of-
like those are never coming back.
Blast Corp maybe.
That was
Ooh.
rare.
Oh yeah, but
Rare
it was
developed
Nintendo.
that.
All right, well there's your third.
Throw us
party.
your guilty party. Wow.
Guilty
Guil-
party.
Guilty pleasure games too, because maybe they're ours and we just have to remember them, or
Yeah,
maybe
we'll put
we
that
can
in there.
figure out why they're your guilty pleasures, because
We're
that could be
gonna- We're
fun.
gonna do an episode on that.
Jet
Yeah.
Force Gemini.
Oh, I love that game. Oh,
I-
we gotta stop. We got to
yeah.
stop. We have to stop.
Oh
We're
yeah,
running
yeah.
out of
Let's
time.
not do
Sorry.
it. Let's not do
Sorry.
that.
For the next episode, you know where we'll be. But thank you for watching if you're on the YouTube channel. Thank you for listening if you've downloaded us on the various amount of podcast platforms that are out there. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, etc.
Hi myself when I listen to this next week.
Hi to Joe. Joe, hope you have a good weekend.
I hope I do too. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I also hope that you both have a good weekend.
I have a good weekend. I'm
Oh,
going to go
thank
see a
you.
show in the city.
I'm gonna play
I'm going to see
Champions
one
Ballad.
in down south.
Beautiful. We're all doing stuff. I hope you're doing stuff out there. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Let us know what we can do to make this better for you. Let us know what we can do to
Jazz things up.
jazz things up.
Yes.
But that's about it. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bang.
Bye.